Hello! I've been asked quite a few times how I set up some of my stream things, and so I have decided to do some tutorials. This is one of hopefully many, if people actually find them useful. If not, then I'll just direct you somewhere else. But today I am going to show you how I have my Kofi alerts show, which I will show you right now. I just have to check it real quick. So if you want that to show up, you don't hear the TTS, but I do also have it hooked up to my VTS Pog. If you would like to do that, first thing you should do is open your Mix It Up and add a webhook. Do not show this link to anyone. I'm showing it to you because I'm not using it. You copy this URL, and then you go to your Kofi page. You go to settings, you go to more, you go to API. And then you put in your link and you paste it in here and then you click update. I'm not going to show this because, this is mine. But that is how you typically tend to set up the connection to Kofi. If you then look at how I have set it up, you can see you have to make sure that you set this up, the map pairs. I've set them up like this because I've seen a tutorial that has the same thing. I will link that one below because compared to that guy, he did tell me how to do these. And this way you can just put $ Kofi message for anything you like. And so when you check these, you go, hold on. You go to your text and you see at $ Kofi donator, that will display the username. This will display the amount, and this will display the currency. And if you are doing anything else, like a message or type, and then you can adjust that as you wish. I have chosen these fonts. You might have to be a bit finicky around it. I added my own image to it. So I had to manually adjust it. My recommendation of how I did it is I go to position and then I go to percentage, and you can adjust it as you please. So if you now check it, for example, now it's all the way over to the right. So then you can move it back as much as you want. I've simply done the amount of seconds that is the length of the GIF that I'm using. I have tripled that so that it doesn't look super weird and doesn't cut off in the middle. I have also made it fade in with the animation. You could choose whatever animation you want. I personally chose this one because it's the simplest one you have. And with the sound, which you can also choose to set up, I recommend turning it down because the bass sound tends to be quite loud for a lot of things. Another thing I did is, if you are interested in doing this, I have set it up with my VTS Pog. So to set that up, we close this, and I think we go to services. If you go down to VTS Pog, and you'd have to have VTS Pog open, like before this already, so make sure you have that open if you wish to set this up. You don't have to. But you connect it here, and then you go back to your webhook. And then you just put in the thing for the message so that it will say essentially whatever the donator's message is, and it will say it out loud. And so I just chose text to speech, and then I have 11 labs on my VTS Pog already set up, and so I don't have to do anything else for this. It has worked for me. What I will recommend doing is opening in a certain order, so make sure that you have VTS Pog open. If you're going to use this before you open Mix It Up, just like how you would have VTube Studio open before Mix It Up if you connect it to your VTube Studio, which I also have. So typically you want to open up your VTube Studio last so that you make sure that it doesn't fail to connect to anything. lastly, you know, we have the overlay. So we have the images. I have the top one that has the message and with the amount, and then the message below it is literally the donator message, so that it also shows what message it is. And then you want to make sure that when you go to services, you have overlay ready to go. Make sure that you have your OBS open also before mix it up if you plan to use OBS. I don't know how it works with any other recording or streaming service, sadly. This is the only one that I use, so I don't know any others. But you want to connect it, and then you can click test connection, and it'll show if you have it on. If you have the link ready, then you can just put it in a browser source on OBS. You add browser source. I can't really show this sadly. And then you can just choose the width and the height. I chose 1920 by 1080 as is usual. And so that, and then you can add that, and then I should probably remove that because I don't use it. I already have it set up, sadly. But, and then you can go to your API. If you want to actually double check to make sure it works, you go to your API, and then you go scroll down, and then you click single donation test. And then this will show up on screen. And I can also hear it through my TTS. That's the only way I have it set up. It might be a bit specific for some people, but it is how I've set it up. I will also show you how I have edited the text and such. So if you want different colors and stuff, I just chose hex codes because that's how I figured out it would work. You can also just do white, black, whatever, with a capital letter at the front. I don't know if that matters, but that's how I put it in, how I found it. So that's how I put it in. I put a maxed width, which means that if the username exceeds a certain amount of characters, that it doesn't cover the whole screen. Hence why it's stacked into 3 rows, which helps a lot, especially if you don't want it cluttering your screen. You can change the size and the position, and you can put it wherever you want on the screen. There's also other ways of positioning it. You can also just like do this, which I think does it a certain way. Oh no, I've messed it up. I think. Hold on. Close enough. Close enough. Close enough. Yeah, see, as long as you don't save it, it won't be weird. So if you make a mistake, you can just close it. You don't have to save it, and it'll just go back to what it was before. So that's fine. That is all I have to show you, sadly. But I hope maybe some other time I can show you more tutorials. But thank you so much for watching, and if this helped, please let me know if there's any way I could improve. And if you like it, you should like the video, and you should subscribe. Okay, bye-bye!